Mark here. Let me be straight with you. Most people are stuck because they're chasing fads, hacks, or gimmicks. But here's the truth: hacks, gimmicks don't work. Fitness comes down to just the five essentials. I'll call them the big five: proper training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. Get these right, and you don't just lose weight or gain muscle, you transform your health, your energy, your life. Today, I'm going to break down these five and show you how they actually work and why skipping even one of them keeps you stuck. If you've been frustrated, overwhelmed, or feeling like you've tried everything, this is just the reset you're waiting on. So the first things first, I feel, is to have a very clear, specific goal. So we'll just do a little goal setting exercise right now here together. If you could wave a realistic magic wand and you could have your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you want it to be over the next year or so, what would that be like for you? Think about it. Get clear and specific. Ideally, narrow it down to a specific body weight and a specific body fat percent, right? Dial that in, get really clear and specific. Then consider doing this daily affirmation / prayer. Goes like this: I am happy and grateful now that I am, state your body weight and body fat percent. I'll just use it as an example. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. That's just an example. You plug in your numbers. But it's I am happy and grateful now that I am, state your body weight, body fat percent. Now, what does that do? That puts you in a state, you're mentally, this is something you're working towards. You're not there in the present tense, but you're working towards it and you're putting yourself in the mindset, I am happy and grateful. Oops. I am happy and grateful right now that I am, and then stating the goal, right? So you're feeling that feeling of gratefulness in the moment. So you're thinking about it, and you're putting yourself, oh, I am, and you're feeling that you are what it is that you're setting out to be. So you're putting yourself in that mental state that you've achieved it, and you're feeling grateful for it. I hope that makes sense. Then the big five: training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. Those are the big five things that if you follow the fundamentals within those areas, you will be successful. So let's break them down. Training. When it comes to training, consider having both a cardiovascular part of your program and a strength training part of your program. So imagine for a moment that you have a twin engine airplane and you're flying along, and one engine is cardiovascular and one engine is strength, right? So you're flying along, and ideally, yes, we want both engines going strong on the airplane. So good cardio program, good strength training program. And you have a good strength, you'll be well balanced, right? So, but when it comes to building out a training program, consider these five basic elements: proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Let's take a look at proper form. So when it comes, why would proper form be so important? Think about it. When it comes to proper form, a couple things to keep in mind. One is you're going to exercise the muscle effectively. You're going to get the most out of your time in your workout session. You're probably a very busy person. So doing the form properly is going to get you the most value for the time that you put into that workout program. So plus, on top of that, you can save yourself by preventing injuries. So by doing proper form, you're a lot less likely to get injuries. So it brings us to number 2, variety. What comes to mind? Why would it be important to have variety inside your training program? Why change it up? Why not just do the same workout over and over again, month after month, year after year? Why not change it up? Why should we change it up? A couple things come to mind. One is that our bodies get used to it. Have you ever heard of a plateau? That's how plateaus get hit. You get to a certain level and you just can't get above that level. So, and I see that happen a lot of times. People get into the working out and they get comfortable doing the same kind of workout structure, same kind of rep range, same kind of tempo, the speed of the movement. And you do that for months on months, and you're not quite sure why you're not making progress. Adding variety into your training program can really be what spices it up. It's going to keep your body just progressing. As for somebody that's been working out since I was a teenager, I love changing it up generally about every 4 weeks. Now, if you're starting new, you could do even every 10 weeks or even 12 weeks, change the main structure. But you decide what works best for you, but changing it up 4 to 6 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever works for you, but keeping that element of variety into your routine. And what can you do to have that variety? You can change the exercises around. You can change your workout structure around. You can swap different exercises in and out. You can do different tempos. There's the speed of the movement. You have like say if we're doing chest presses, you might have 3 seconds on the way down, explosive up, or you might have 5 seconds on the way down, 1 second at the bottom, 2 seconds up. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. But tempo, that's another good way to change it up. And intensity is the third part of a good training program. What comes to mind when you think about exercising with intensity? What comes to mind? Challenging yourself, pushing yourself, right? Taking it to the limit. Say if we're doing those chest presses and we're going for 12 repetitions, we get to 8, 9, 10, it's getting tough, 11, and we barely get that 12th one, but we got that 12th one. What's the most beneficial part of that set? The first few reps or the last few reps? It'd be the last few, right? That's where the overload occurs. That's where the breakdown occurs, right? So be sure to include intensity, because that is what's going to trigger those muscles to grow back stronger. We break it down in the gym through rest and recovery. It grows back stronger. That element of intensity is what's going to help you break it down so that it can grow back stronger for you. So we've had proper form, variety, intensity. Then there's proper training principles. There's lots of different training principles to consider. Should we do compound sets, supersets, drop sets, up and down the racks, 21s? There's a lot of different principles. So I encourage you to learn about training principles, whether you go on Google or ChatGPT and search it out and just include them into your routine as a part of your normal routine. Proper training principles. And the last but not least is consistency. So what comes to mind? Why would it be important to have consistency as a part of your training program? Why should you be consistent? Pretty obvious, right? So imagine for a moment, if you have you and say if you had a twin of you. Say you committed to a 4-day-a-week exercise program, strength and cardio, and then you eat, 80% healthy at least. You get your rest, and you start off your journey that way. And then say if you have a twin of you going for the same goal, but then, only sets off to do 4 days a week, but only does 2, and then starts off to eat good, but then, only eats half as good as supposed to. Starts off to, get that recovery, but then doesn't always get the proper amount of sleep every night. At the end of the year, who's going to have the best results? The consistent version of yourself or the inconsistent version? Exactly, the consistent version. So pick what kind of training program you're going to do, whatever it is, implement it, be consistent with that, your nutrition, your sleep. You're going to do great. So let's summarize the proper training principles: proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Now, let's take a look at nutrition. Right? So when it comes to nutrition, that's really important, right? So imagine for a moment that we're trying to build a 2-story house from scratch. So we're trying to build this house, and imagine that we're trying to build a 2-story house, and we only have half the materials necessary to build the house. How far are we going to get? About halfway, right? Part of the way. So the foods that you and I eat on a daily basis are the same as the supplies that build our bodies that's necessary for the supplies to build a house. If we only have half the amount of materials necessary to build the physical house, we're not going to be able to build it. So that's why I encourage you to get in everything you need and every day to build your house. And what should you consider? Consider generally getting about 50% of your intake from fruits and vegetables, 25% from whole grains, and 25% from plant-based proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, seeds, healthy protein powders. Now, when it comes to nutrition and our bodies, I feel like there are basically 4 different ways in which eating affects our bodies: metabolism, energy levels, insulin levels, and blood sugar levels. So imagine for a moment that we have a fireplace, and on one hand we have a stack of oak wood, and on the other hand we have a stack of paper. And not including kindling and getting the fire started, but if you had to choose between the oak wood or the paper to burn in your fireplace, which one would you pick and why? Well, most of us will pick the oak wood, and why? Because it's going to burn longer, slower, more efficiently. So if foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds, things like that, burn really slow, really efficient. That's what we want for ultimate fat burn and muscle building. So we talked about training, nutrition. Let's look at recovery. So when it comes to recovery, based on my research and what I believe, I feel most of us need between 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night, about 2 hours of deep, 2 hours of REM. How can we get that? A few basic strategies. If possible, first of all, have what's called a sleep opportunity window. Decide how much time you can put towards sleep. If you want to get the full pop, go 9 hours, right? 9 to 6, 10 to 7, 8 to 5, 7 to 4, 6 to 3, whatever works for you, right? Get that. That's your sleep opportunity time. So at least if you have 9 hours in the bed, you at least have an opportunity to have up to 9 hours sleep. Doesn't mean you're going to get it all, but at least you have that opportunity. Ideally, have your last meal at least 2 hours before sleep time. And if you can do that, back it up to even 4 hours. That works even better. What that does is that allows your body to cool down, because when we eat, it boosts our metabolism and our heart rate increases. When we're about 4 hours post last meal, our metabolism slows down, our heart rate slows down, cool the house down, darken the house down, be like a kind of like a bear, hibernate. You want that slow calmness. If you eat right before bedtime, it's going to spike up your heart rate. If you drink or do something like that right before bedtime, you're going to get a spike and could interfere with your optimal sleep. So those are some things to think about. So we talked about training, the big five: training, nutrition, recovery. Those are the big three. Sometimes people say sleep is really the big one. You could do one thing for your health: optimize sleep. So training, nutrition, sleep, recovery. Let's talk about supplementation. I feel there are basically two different categories of supplements. There are nutritional supplements and there are enhancement performance supplements. Nutritional supplements is like protein shakes, protein bars, those kind of things. Enhancement performance supplements is like creatine, prescription medication, anything that's going to enhance performance, but it's not necessarily part of your nutrition. And then the last big of the big five is mindset. So we talked about training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, mindset. One thing I learned a while back is that our mind controls our body, not the other way around. If you decide to work out 4 days a week and eat healthy and get your sleep, you decide and you tell your body what it's going to do, when it's going to eat, when it's going to sleep, when it's going to work out. Your mind tells your body what to do, not the other way around. The body says, oh, I'm tired today. Body doesn't have a say in this conversation. We're going to work out 4 times a week. We're working out 4 times a week. We're going to eat healthy. We're eating healthy. We're going to get a 9-hour sleep opportunity window. We're getting a 9-hour sleep opportunity window. The mind tells the body what to do, not the other way around. And then last but not least, I'll leave you with the affirmation. It goes like this: I am happy and grateful now that I am happy. I'm happy and grateful now that I am. Plug in your body weight, your body fat percent goal. Say that every day as you're going for your goal. So here's the deal. You know the big five, but knowing isn't the same as doing. If you're serious about getting results, you need a plan that's tailored to you. That's why I'm inviting you to a complimentary phone or Zoom consultation with me. We'll talk about your goals, cut through the noise, and design a simple strategy that works for your life. No gimmicks, no guesswork, just real results. Click the link in the description or text me. It's in the description. Book your spot and let's get started today, because the best time to take control of your health and fitness is right now. Be blessed, and I'll see you on the next one.